honey, you know how we go on road trips and we always have these earth-shattering conversations that change the world. And I always say to you, I wish I had the dictaphone on. Well, I've got the dictaphone on today.
No pressure.
No pressure. And I wanted to introduce you to our audience because I think they're going to find you really inspiring. Since I do, of course, I might be a little biased. For those listening, I've been in Megan's life now for 9 years, and over that time I've ghost written for Megan. I've told her story many a times and different chapters of that story until today, where Megan really now gets to step into that role of telling her own story, and I'm super excited for that because she can turn into that leader that I've always seen in her for mums, and to inspire other mums and other women who are to become mums. So let me introduce you now to my wife, Megan Brown, formerly Megan Casserly.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. So before we dive into who you are, I'd like to ask you why you're inspired to create this podcast, because it's been a long journey to get to this content creation thing for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. So, for a long time I was just like shying away from that, but at the same time I've always had conversations with mums over coffee or play dates or whatever, and been like, oh, that's really inspiring, or oh, I'd love, the same thing as I'd love to hear other mums hear this sort of conversation, this sort of epiphanies and light bulbs. So I just wanted to make a platform for all females basically to listen to, and for inspiring females that are either already mums or they're future mums of the world. And I wanted to create that platform for them to tell their stories that will hopefully empower other females who are listening.
You listen to audiobooks and podcasts when you chop the veggies.
So that's become like my new favorite thing, is because both my kids are at school now, that I can get into the kitchen by myself. So whereas before it was very much the kids are involved. So now that they're both at school, I love nothing more, and it's kind of like me time now, and it gets me going after procrastinating about getting shop and chop and cook up done. So I think I get excited then, and I think I'm going to put my earphones in, and I'm going to listen to someone that inspires me and empowers me to do better while I get the food prepped for the entire week. And then in no time, I've got all this delicious food ready to go for the whole family. And at the same time, I've grown a little, I've been inspired a little, and I've had some me time.
Yeah. And you were telling me on the way home from our walk today that you listen to audiobooks and podcasts when you train as well in the gym.
So now that's become a really cool habit of mine as well. I can't do music. I can't stand the gym music either. It's like I want to go into my own headspace, and I'll put on the audiobook that I'm currently listening to, and even though it may not sink in completely, like I'm completely present if I'm distracted by pain or breathing or counting, it's still somewhere going into my subconscious, and it helps me get that workout done too. And then, I feel really good afterwards.
Awesome. So what makes you who you are?
So I named myself... actually, you came up with the idea first. We named ourselves Mumleet and Dadleet when we had Logie, which is our second child. And we decided that, mums are everyday athletes, and dads, you want dads to be everyday athletes. I mean, we've got to be sharp with our reflexes. We've got to be up early, organising the day for the family. We have to be sharp, even though we don't always feel sharp, focused and on the go physically, mentally and emotionally until our head hits the pillow at night. So for me, that's mums are everyday athletes, and I became that, or we started to really embrace that after the second baby and running our own health and fitness studio. So that is what makes me up, but also my two girls, you as my husband, and our fun, active, healthy, freedom living lifestyle. That's what makes me up to be the person that I am. And I, without any of you humans, you beautiful humans in my life, I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be so confident in the person that I am today.
We're really connected on that, on the freedom side of things.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's why we're still here today.
Yeah, so I know that
seekers.
You always think that it was health and fitness that connected us, but it did connect us initially, but the freedom side of, we could just pack up tomorrow and be nomads if we wanted to, or we jump on a flight and who even knows where we're going.
Yeah. That
is what connected us. And our little girls are very similar in that way as well. Yeah.
I struggle with that, something like, especially the last year or so, is when we've been taking our own health and fitness journeys
separately, but also together.
Yeah, and finding other ways of connection inside of our new life up here in Brisbane. But yeah, you're right. Like, the freedom is something that we've really kind of had as the backbone of our relationship.
Experience seekers.
Yes.
That's what I'm beginning to find out that we are.
Yes.
We are like total experience seekers, and even when the kids aren't even necessarily on board sometimes, once we make them get on board, they really embrace it and go, oh, it was so fun. And we are at our best when we're living that value. Yeah.
And this is a whole new experience, I suppose. So talking about experiences, what were the series of experiences that have led you down the path that you're on right now?
Got a minute? It's a bit of a long story, but it all started, obviously, when becoming a mum for the first time. I became a mum for the first time in 2010. My eldest is 11, about to turn 12. And as it does for many mums, it changed my entire being. It made me question what I was doing with my life. Was I doing enough? Who I am as a person, or who I was as a person, and then made me question who I wanted to be and what example I wanted to set for my daughter, who is going to become a woman, or who is a woman. So within the first year of her life, I changed careers. I was a dental assistant for 5 years, and 5 years too many. I was trapped inside 4 walls, and it just wasn't me. I'm really energetic and bubbly, and I felt like I bounced off those walls, and it bored me to tears. So I changed into the health and fitness industry. I was always active, always cared about what I ate to the best of my knowledge, and cared about constantly being active. I kind of knew but didn't know that movement was my priority, and it's only just becoming I'm only just becoming very aware of how much I've known movement is the priority for me. So I got into the health and fitness industry because I cared about my health and well-being, but not only myself now. I had my child to think about, and I cared about what went into her body. So I wanted to know more. And then I also wanted to help others as well, because I'd seen me going to the gym, or me caring about what I was eating, and then others around me, girlfriends, mums, they actually would ask me questions and wanted to join in if I was doing a workout, and we'd meet up and make little groups and all that kind of thing. So I felt like or here is something that I'm actually good at, and it comes so naturally to me. So that whole part of my life back then, when I became a mum for the first time, changed careers. It took me on a massive transformation of myself, and that included a marriage breakdown in the first 2 years. So starting over again as a single mother back then, and then to meeting my now husband, owning and running a fitness studio together. We then fell pregnant with our second daughter. And I discovered that I had this core belief that I could do it all. Like, I'm very, women empowering. We can do anything we want. We can have it all. We can do it all. So I had that core belief, and, I was out to prove that you can stay fit, you can stay healthy whilst being pregnant, and then you can bounce back after giving birth. So
the common narrative, that bouncing back.
The pressure.
Postpartum, the pressure, yeah. And I suppose that combined with your priority of movement has kind of led into the next part.
Yeah, exactly. So while I did achieve that, and you were 100%, my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan, cool, this is what she wants to do, 100% believe in her, 100% back her. And so, yes, I achieved all of that. And what came about after the initial postpartum of my second child, nobody could have seen coming, right?
Yep.
You couldn't have seen it. I couldn't have seen it.
Really confused. People
following me couldn't have seen it. Outside looking in, thought I had all my shit together, right?
Yeah. that's the appearance.
Yeah. So what actually happened after that was our second baby girl wasn't a sleeper. So I had my first child who screamed for the first 5 weeks of her life. I was 24. That sort of settled itself out quite early on. But Logie wasn't a sleeper, and yet I still had this core belief that I could do it all, even on little to no sleep. Crazy. I had a really weird mindset that I just didn't even.
Yeah, I think it was partially
it.
The fact that you're a big social character. You need to be around people.
Stimulated.
And we're living in a small town.
Yeah.
We were in a house that we didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
And it was lonely. Like, it would have been lonely for you.
Yeah.
Looking back on that, I think about it. I was running a business. I was renovating a new house. Not a new house. I was renovating a new studio. And that was all around the time.
But you were training.
Birth.
Yeah.
And then I was
training clients, training yourself.
I was so focused on keeping myself in shape as well.
Keeping up appearances, right?
Keeping up appearances that just on that emotional level, I guess you were seeking some kind of connection, and you weren't getting that at home, so you went out to get it. And
totally. But have always been like that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Even with Miri, week 1 of her giving birth, I was up walking around the supermarket, or the shopping centre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in that marriage as well, you didn't have that
connection
in the home either. So
so I was
I'm
out
just having
seeking.
epiphanies as I'm talking, and
Totally.
I'm like,
Yeah, same. And so that's right. That's why I was crazy enough to go back to exercise 3 weeks postpartum, because I think, I loved having my baby and I loved having a newborn. But at the same time, I would have been very bored and lonely.
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at home. So I was like, hey, I had a 3.5 hour labour, no stitches, got up, walked out of there. I'm amazing. I'm woman. Hear me roar, okay?
Yeah.
3 weeks postpartum, I was like, I'll go back to exercise. And like you said, I was looking for that connection. So I came to the studio to hang out, just to hang out and, get my pre-baby body back, because I'm so healthy and I'm invincible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't prioritize the sleep and recovery. I prioritized connection and keeping up appearances, I reckon, that I could do it all.
Yeah.
So I continued on the same path, the same routine, the same habits that I had before having 2 children, a business, a husband, and a child the second child that didn't sleep. And she was very clingy and very needy, but for good reason, probably, because she could probably feel things off me that I wasn't dealing with, that I was suppressing. So she's so connected. She's so connected with me that I couldn't see it.
What's that? What you say? You say something about each baby has an impact on you. They're here for a reason, to teach you something. Yeah. So what did Logan teach you? So
not only do parents have the job of teaching and raising their kids, each kid, I firmly believe that each child comes into your life to teach you something. And most definitely, Logie has taught me to slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down, be in the moment, savor the moment, and, the laundry, or like if you didn't get a good night's sleep, you don't necessarily have to do a workout and push yourself, but at the same time, or you prioritize. So yes, I might have been feeling crappy one time, so I will choose, am I going to do a workout, or am I going to prep food that's going to be in the fridge for all of us, it's going to benefit all of us, and just slow down and do yoga rather than going and manic moving. A good friend of ours has described it as manic movement, and I feel that too when you hear Jess.
Oh,
Jessie.
Jess.
So she'll be
Jess
on
is
soon.
on the next one. Yeah, that's cool.
I
was going to ask.
Yeah.
What did Miri teach you?
Oh, Miri absolutely taught me that who I wanted to be, who I wasn't being true to myself. And I had to ask myself that question: who did I want to be, and who I really was, and whether I was willing to settle, and live somebody else's life, or am I going to live my life, break away, and go on that journey of self-discovery and live my truth, because then I wanted to show her that if you are ever not happy and you are ever being squashed down or suppressed or being made to believe, and that's not somebody else's exterior, somebody else, but if you're making yourself believe that you aren't good enough to be what you want to be, that you leave that situation. Yeah, you leave that environment and you create a better one.
Yeah.
So yeah, she definitely taught me all of that.
Because that girl is you.
Yeah, to a T. To a T, but she's better. She's me, but a better version of me.
Yeah, and Logie is me to a T.
Yeah.
And she's the one that has needed coaching to be socially confident. She's the anxious child.
She was,
and she's everything you couldn't resonate with until you had her.
Definitely, yeah. The shyness.
Yeah.
The shyness, you will work to earn my affection and my trust.
Yeah.
And
it's just not given.
It's just not given, yeah, that's right. I love that about Logie as well, that she's just so true to who she is.
Yeah.
That, she won't necessarily just be friendly to you for the sake of being friendly. She'll suss you out. She'll give you a couple of death stares. She'll make you work for it. But then once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
And you're very much like that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, non-sleeping child, clingy, maintaining those habits.
The symptoms of this chronic fatigue, which is what you were about to say.
Yes.
They didn't present themselves until 18 months in. 2 years.
You would say, I said 2 years. You would probably say 18 months. Yeah, you're probably right there. I've lost track because it's such a...
Yeah, we went on a bit of a tangent there.
a blur. No, but it's just such a bit of a blur in between those times. So it took 2 years of non-stop for me trying to do it all right for Miri. I did try and prioritize her and make sure that 4 days after Logie was born, I was there at her swimming lessons. I was taking her for a swimming lesson. She couldn't miss out on that just because I had the baby.
Yeah.
And the same as with my second child, I wanted to be there. I wanted to do it all. I was the one that was breastfeeding. You couldn't do much anyway, so I was up anyway. I took on what you were taking on in terms of closing the other studio, training the other. I felt like as though I'd let you down because I couldn't be there. I was just, had this child attached to my boobs and me. So I took on what you were doing as well. So 2 years of that non-stop, never taking time out for myself to heal, to recover, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of that. I got very, very sick. And like you just said, I was diagnosed with severe anemia, and glandular fever was the final smack in the face. You're not going anywhere. You can't move. You can't eat. You can't swallow. Very, very sick.
So the doctor said that to you?
Yes. So when I went on Father's Day, 2017 would have been. Yeah, it would have been. 17. So that wasn't 2 years.
So, it was 18 months.
18 months, you're right. Yeah, I got very, very sick with temperature.
Yeah.
I couldn't go into the cafe to have a coffee with you.
Yeah, and I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, I laid in the car.
On Father's Day, you weren't able to come in.
I wasn't able to socialise. Yeah, because... Yeah, and you know that whenever I've been sick, you know when I'm sick because I can't move.
Yeah.
Whereas I force myself, and then, so I got I got knocked down and had glands up like golf balls where I couldn't swallow. I even had to, when I went to the doctor, they had to prescribe me that what was that numbing gel that I had to put on my throat every day to numb my glands at the back of my throat to eat. It's lidocaine or something. Yeah. It was like liquid lidocaine that I had to get, and it gives me horror feels when I think about it, going into the bathroom every day, getting a cotton bud and putting it down my throat to numb my throat so I was able to just even drink and try and eat something substantial. So diagnosed with the glandular fever, and also known as chronic fatigue. And my doctor said to me, if you don't stop what you're doing right now, you are going to get very, very sick. And so then I went on a whole another journey of health and well-being, like a big wake-up call that I don't know everything. We don't know everything. And learned how to prioritize rest and recovery. Learned how to have the proper nutrition there, how to not over-exercise, because that was a massive problem for me, and how to include my whole family in the entire process. That it's not just about me, it's about my whole family. But if I don't take care of me first, my whole family falls apart.
Yeah, so, it was scary that time. I don't want to interrupt your rhythm, but I just want to add how scary it was, because we didn't know. You were eating so much food, and so much nutritious food. For a doctor to tell us that you had low iron just didn't make sense.
Yeah, so it was in the 2s.
It was rock bottom low. You needed to get an iron infusion.
Yes, within 24 hours.
Yeah. And I remember racking our brain in the car one day, looking at how you could get more iron into your diet, and you could
and asking me that insensitive question of how come you're so tired. Before I got diagnosed, how come you're so tired? It's not normal for you to be this tired. And I remember snapping at you. It would be taken as an insensitive question with a baby that doesn't sleep, and I have a baby and 2 children. For you to say, why are you so tired? It's not normal for you to be that tired. And I snap back at you that I have a baby that doesn't sleep. But for you, you're like, but you're eating so well. We're doing all the right things that we've been taught. You're exercising, you're moving. And
textbook, you're doing
everything. You're doing everything.
The way you should have been. But obviously that wasn't working. And I think that was the big turning point in our journey and in our career and how we teach, in that rather than focus on what you should be doing, focusing on what you are doing and looking for the subtle cues that your body gives you and reading those cues and then making decisions based off that. So
before you get to the big ass
you get to the big ass cues,
where they go, where your body just goes, you know what, I'm shutting down here. Bye-bye.
And I think if you...
that was scary.
Yeah, totally. And beyond that, I remember the gynecologist and the appointments with him and the potential that you may have had cancerous cells and all of that being so scary.
Yeah. So after the glandular fever and I started to recover and all that, like trying to prioritize the sleep and the rest and recover, and then came everything else, the nutrition and the how to structure exercise where you're not overdoing it. I then was getting abnormal pap smears.
Abnormalities in your pap smear,
Abnormalities in my liver. At one stage.
Yep.
Yeah. So we also forgot to add here when I got very, very sick and how I got anemic was the fact that I wasn't resting and recovering. All that good food that we were feeding me was not getting absorbed. It was going gut was just no.
Yeah, I guess that's where that genuine genuine comment came from me was like, I was going to the effort of making sure there was food there for you, making sure I gave you a liquid meal to drink while you were breastfeeding. And we took so much care to make sure you were fed and fed well, and prided ourselves on that
100%.
The very kink in the chink in the armor was the fact that you weren't sleeping and that nutrition wasn't getting absorbed by your body because you weren't sleeping.
Yeah.
So it was literally going in and going out.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand about nutrition and exercises. You can do as much of it as you like.
And you can follow a plan.
You can follow the best plan in the world, but unless you sleep and you're sleeping with great quality, not sleeping long periods of time, but sleeping with great quality, you don't actually get the benefits from that good nutrition and that exercise.
Yeah, following that bedtime ritual and routine, no matter whether your baby's sleeping or not.
Yep.
And prioritizing what's going to come. Like it can't. Sometimes with babies, it can't be both. You can't exercise and food prep. You've got to choose.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff that we had to really learn. And if you aren't being aware of it, like you said, we can follow a diet and meal plan from Joe Blow online. But unless you're actually connecting with yourself, journaling, making a diary of what's happening and how your body's responding, it can all turn to utter shit.
Yeah.
Like it did for us as so-called health experts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of health experts, even health experts, get it wrong for themselves, is that they follow what they're taught so well that they forget to actually follow what their body's telling them to do.
It's just like with babies, they don't come with textbooks.
No.
So we can't, there's grey areas. There's so many grey areas. And so it brings us to how I now help other mums on this journey, after this journey and this transformation and all the stuff that we've learned and all the experiences that I've had, I now help other mums to do the same.
Yeah. So why are you passionate about that? What makes you driven to teach these mums what you've learnt?
Deep down on it, it's about the kids, I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's really because I love being a mama and I take that job so seriously. I take that job so seriously because I'm raising tiny humans that are then going to be big humans, and I've got 2 girls as well, so I'm very passionate about female as well. Like I'm raising 2 females, and I know my experiences and my self-worth and all of that childhood trauma that I went through and all the lessons that I had to learn. I want to make it better for my girls, that they don't have to go through what I went through. So I want to teach them to be the best possible little versions and big versions of themselves they can be. So then when I get to teach other mums who actually care and give a shit about what goes into their children's bodies, and how they're raised, and how these little humans turn out into society. Yeah, that's why I do what I do.
I've been thinking about the Fit Mum method lately, which is our packaged up pathway of everything that we've learnt over these last few years. And I've been thinking about the mission statement for that. And you nailed it there, because I've had the same line of thought, is that the mission statement for Fit Mum method is to really impact thousands of children. Because when you think about it, mum has such a huge impact on their lives. She does need to be sharp. She does need to be on her best game every single day. She's a mumly, and with that in mind, children will do what they see more than what they're told. And we've seen it time and time again, where mums are frustrated because they're not eating all their lunch in the lunchbox, or they're not eating their veggies at dinner.
They're fussy eaters.
And the mum themselves is the fussy eater.
Not setting the example.
Yeah. So it really does wrap that up in terms of our mission isn't... Mum's secondary. What mum achieves as a benefit of the Fit Mum method is a byproduct. But the focus is getting shit together in the household, getting dad involved, getting the kids involved, and getting the family working as a team, a unit. And
we use that a lot in this house.
You're mum late, I'm dad late.
Yeah,
kids are
kid leads. Yeah, but even with cleaning up and stuff like that, we're a team here. You don't say that's not mine. I didn't make that mess.
Yeah, which brings me to how it goes far beyond what the kids are putting in their mouths as well, or what's being put in the kids' mouths. It's what they're looking at, what they're listening to, the environment that they're in.
Yeah.
Screen time is such a huge
impact. That too. Yeah, I'm like I said, emotionally, physically, mentally, it's all in one for everyone. Because even like you say, mum's secondary, but at the same time, if mum's got this sorted, she's at her top of the game. So then she has clarity and she can see what's going on with her kid. If they're acting out, if something's happening in their world, and you go, hang on, what's happening here? Can I help you?
Yeah.
And you just think, when you're like that and you don't miss the ball, you think, oh, that is a massive win. Yeah.
And this is where it gets great.
Yeah.
Because you tell me, you're a mum.
Yeah.
Your body shape and your health and your energy levels, do they naturally come first or second?
You come first.
But
Oh, you mean as a mum? Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You put that on the back burner. Is that naturally? Yeah. And also society has brought you up.
Exactly.
To put it on the back burner. Yeah. You don't care about yourself first. You care about the kids first. You put them first. Yeah.
So that's where I sort of see mum's body transformation as being a great byproduct.
Yes.
And that's secondary.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
And I want to explain for the listeners.
Yes.
In that, when mum does focus on herself, the kids get the primary benefit, and then she gets the secondary benefit. We could go on and on about that and go in circles, but I suppose what I want to finish on is. For this podcast, who do we have lined up over the next couple of episodes? We've got 2 cool guests in the pipeworks. We've got
Jessie
Jash.
Yeah.
She's a female empowerment coach, she calls herself. And then we've got...
amazing woman.
Yep.
isn't a mum yet, but she is just an amazing woman, empowering, inspiring. So very excited about having her on, which it's going to be a flip because I have been on her podcast before. So this is going to be really fun.
We'll link that in the comments.
Yeah. So I've been on and told a bit of my story with her, and wow, like she got me nowhere near where I thought I was going to go in terms of telling a story with her. So this is going to be really cool for me to be able to now interview her on my podcast. And then we have Molly O'Callaghan, who is a women's health physiotherapist, and she's very passionate about women's health, pelvic floor, all that kind of thing. And I'll let her speak on what she's trying to achieve, or her mission statement, and all that kind of thing, and her passion. But cool. That's very exciting as well. She's excited to collaborate with us too.
Yeah, brilliant. That brings us to the end of today's lesson or episode. Lesson. I'm used to presenting lessons. Our episode today. This will be the last time you hear my voice because it'll be all female, all woman moving forward. But I may pop in from time to time. I'm really excited for this new journey, this podcast. And I can't wait to see what it looks like or what it sounds like 100 episodes in.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to another episode of Hey Mumma. You can find all the relevant links, including socials, in the description section of this podcast. If you want to find out more information about how I can help you build your best body after babies, then visit my website, www.thefitmummethod.com, for more info. Lastly, before you leave here today, if you've enjoyed listening, then please subscribe and share so you can help me to reach out to those mamas that also need to listen too.